A ver, hable un poquito, está muy fuerte su volumen, me parece. A ver. No, está fuerte, digo, está. O está bien, a ver. Ah, no, está bien. A ver.
Hola.
¿Está saliendo? A ver.
Un gramo.
Sí, es un poquito.
Un gramo.
Está bien, bájenle un poquito.
Sí, no voy
No, bájenle un poquito el volumen, parece que está muy fuerte. Ahí. A ver ahora.
Un gramo Krishna. Un gramo Krishna. ¿Por qué?
El suyo bájenle un poquito. Can you hear me? Sale fuerte, sale bien.
Yes.
You can. Okay, is the volume okay?
No sale.
Yes.
Ahí está.
Ahí sale bien.
Sí.
Ahí, para mí dice más fuerte.
Ahora no baja, decíamos. No, está bien, ahí está perfecto.
Hola.
Ahí está.
Acá le subo el volumen para acá.
Gracias.
Ahí está bien.
¿Ya está transmitiendo?
Sí.
Bueno.
Sí,
Muy
ya.
buenas tardes a todos ustedes, los que están en Bellavista y también los que están a través de la plataforma YouTube. Muy bienvenidos. Tenemos una gran alegría de tener la presencia de Swami Sarvasthanandaji. Es el director espiritual y presidente del Centro Ramakrishna Vedanta en Inglaterra. Después de graduarse en ingeniería mecánica, se unió a la orden Ramakrishna en 1987. Desde junio de 1987 ha servido en el Ramakrishna Ashrama Rajkot, India, en diversas funciones durante más de 30 años. Trabajó en el departamento de publicaciones del centro, que publicó más de 200 libros en gujarati e inglés durante casi 25 años. Y fue editor de la publicación gujarati Sri Ramakrishna Jyot durante casi 17 años. Durante este periodo también ofreció sus servicios como voluntario en diversas actividades de socorro y proyectos de rehabilitación importantes tras desastres naturales como sequías, inundaciones, ciclones y terremotos en Gujarat, y se desempeñó como jefe del centro Rajkot durante casi 7 años. Swami Sarvasthananda realiza visitas periódicas a otros países, transmitiendo el mensaje universal del Vedanta y las enseñanzas de Ramakrishna y Vivekananda. Swamiji también participa como conferencista en foros y conferencias sobre temas relacionados con la educación basada en valores, desarrollo de la personalidad, liderazgo y gestión, transformación social en las universidades, entre otros. Desde 2017 ha sido designado como uno de los 3 representantes monásticos oficiales de la misión Ramakrishna en eventos oficiales de la UNESCO. Muy bienvenido, Maharaj. We welcome you and please.
Revered Swami Sarvasthanandaji Maharaj and Swami Purnabodhanandaji Maharaj, I am very happy to be here in South America, especially Brazil and Argentina, for the first time, and see the wonderful centers here, and with so many wonderful devotees.
Reverendo Swami Parishanji Maharaj, Reverendo y todos otros devotos, primera vez estoy en Brasil y Argentina y estoy fascinado de conocer el movimiento en Sudamérica.
I begin with a prayer to Sri Ma Sharda Devi and Sri Ramakrishna.
Empezó con una oración a la Santa Madre y Sri Ramakrishna.
Om Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhu Muhu Namasri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Nanda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. The topic on which I am supposed to speak today is 4 pathways to freedom.
El tema que yo voy a hablar el día de hoy es 4 caminos hacia la espiritualidad.
You must have guessed by now, the 4 pathways are the 4 yogas.
Seguramente han tenido una idea ustedes que 4 caminos es 4 tipos de yoga.
This is the greatest contribution of Swami Vivekananda, this concept of harmony of 4 yogas to the entire world.
Es una contribución grande de Swami Vivekananda, la armonía de 4 yogas al mundo.
It is not that these 4 yogas are an Indian or a Hindu concept.
No es que 4 yogas un concepto hindú.
It is a universal scientific approach to religion through these 4 paths.
Es un aspecto universal y científico a través de 4 caminos.
They come from the fundamental constitution of the mind, the 4 capacities or powers of the mind.
Estos vienen de 4 capacidades de la mente.
And the mind is the same for all human beings.
La mente es la misma para todos los seres humanos.
I mean, the constitution of the mind is the same to whichever religion, to whichever country, to whichever ethnicity you belong.
La constitución de la mente es la misma para todos los seres, sea lo que sea el origen.
So, this concept of 4 pathways to the universal goal of mankind, which is freedom, is a very scientific way to approach spirituality.
Los 4 caminos para la libertad universal es un tema universal, es un tema muy interesante.
You may ask why there are 4 capacities of the mind when Western psychology says there are 3 powers of the mind.
Como ustedes pueden preguntarme, usted dice 4 capacidades, cualidades de la mente en lugar de psicología occidental que dice la mente tiene 3 cualidades.
The 3 concepts according to Western psychology is of the mind, capacities of the mind are thinking, feeling and willing.
3 conceptos según psicología occidental es sentirse, feeling, thinking, pensamientos y acciones.
So every being has these 3 capacities in different proportions. Some can think better, some can feel better, and some have great capacity to do work, which is willpower.
Cada ser individuo tiene, uno puede pensar mejor, otro puede sentirse bien, otro puede actuar mejor.
Some people can think, they can philosophize, they can understand philosophy. They are the thinking type of people.
Algunos son filósofos, pueden pensar mejor.
The second type are devotional. They are men and women of feeling. They can express their ideas, their thoughts through feeling, through emotions.
Segundo son tipos devocionales, que pueden sentirse mejor.
For those who are predominantly thinking people, Jnana Yoga is the path.
Para aquellos que pueden pensar mejor, para ellos Jnana Yoga, el sendero del supremo conocimiento, es el camino.
For those who are very emotional, for them Bhakti Yoga, which is more popular, very popular all over the world, Bhakti Yoga is another means of attaining freedom or reaching God.
Para seres con emociones, el camino es Bhakti Yoga. el camino de devoción.
That is why you will find in almost all religious traditions of the world, a lot of importance is given to the prayer, which comes from the heart, emotions, songs and hymns, and various types of devotional exercises.
Por eso ustedes pueden ver en todas las tradiciones, las oraciones tienen una importancia que vienen desde el corazón.
So that is why we will find in religion as well as in the practical aspect of religion, spirituality, people are inclined more towards devotion or bhakti yoga than jnana yoga.
Por eso ustedes van a encontrar que en religión o la práctica de espiritualidad, las personas están más atraídas a bhakti, al camino de devoción, que camino del supremo conocimiento o Jnana Yoga.
Because everyone, even if he is not intellectually, he doesn't have the intellectual capacity, has this faculty of the heart which is known as feeling. So most religions, whether a person is educated or not, educated in the academic sense or not, he has the capacity to express his feelings, devotional feelings towards the Lord.
Entonces, una persona puede ser no tiene tanta inteligencia o educación, pero todos pueden sentirse, amar, anhelo el aspecto importante del camino de bhakti.
So according to Western psychology, there is the capacity of cognition or thinking, there is a capacity of feeling or emotions, and there is one more capacity which according to Western psychology is the capacity to will to express one's willpower through concrete actions.
Entonces, según la psicología occidental, hay tres cosas. Uno es pensar, sentir y otro es voluntad.
So most of this development of the willpower and directing it towards God for freedom has found its expression as service to human beings as the children of God.
Nosotros, el servicio hacia los seres humanos como Dios tiene importancia.
That is why you will find the yoga of karma or karma yoga, which is prescribed in the Bhagavad Gita for active people who have strong willpower. They want to do some service. So if we do service as service of the children of God, in the Christian tradition we say we serve the children of the Lord, or in the Indian tradition we say service of the man as God, service of the God in man.
Así en Karma Yoga es como servir a los dioses vivientes.
So highly active people, they use the capacity of the mind which is known as willpower to express their devotional feelings through action, either as service or worship of God in man.
Personas muy activas expresan su amor hacia Dios a través del trabajo de servicio.
So all the service that we do, whether it is helping in the religious rituals, in puja, in worship, or even cooking, cleaning, any place of God or anything to do with God is known as loving service to God, which is karma yoga. That is an expression of our willpower.
Todos los servicios hacia Dios, todas las tareas, eso se llama Karma Yoga hacia Dios, ¿no? Karma Yoga.
Karma. So all these three paths, according to Western psychology, help every human being to sublimate his three capacities, mental capacities, capacity to think, capacity to feel emotions, and capacity to will, to work, to be very active in the service of the Lord.
Estos tres yogas, 3 caminos, hacia, impulsa a uno para pensar, sentir y trabajar.
But there is one more power of the mind which is unique to Indian psychology, which is known as Patanjali's yoga.
Pero tenemos otro camino, cual es único en la psicología hindú, es Patanjali Yoga, los Yoga Sutras de Patanjali.
So what is that power of the mind? 3 powers we understand: thinking, feeling, willing. That is explained by Western psychology and all psychologists accept that. But this 4th power is unique to Raj Yoga or the yoga of Patanjali.
Los 3 poderes de la mente hemos hablado, de pensar, de sentir, de la voluntad, de actuar. Pero el 4º, lo que es único en Raj Yoga, los Yoga Sutras de Patanjali.
So what is that power? What is that power which we speak of, the 4th power? That is the power that we get by controlling our thoughts.
Ese poder, 4º poder, es el poder lo que genera después de controlar nuestros pensamientos.
So the example that can be given to show that controlling of thoughts can generate some power, just as thinking generates power, emotions generate power in the mind, willpower also is a kind of power, but the power which you get by controlling our thoughts can be compared to a river across which a dam is constructed.
Entonces, como podemos ver que a través de las acciones, a través de voluntad, a través de trabajar, a través de pensar, genera un poder, ¿no? De la misma manera, controlando nuestros pensamientos también genera un poder. Y eso podemos tener un ejemplo mejor donde, ¿cómo se dice dam en castellano?
Dique, luego represa.
Represa, gracias Cristina. Así que en una represa sobre el río, eso también genera ese poder, ¿no? Esa energía, Mara va a decir ahora.
Patanjali and the yoga system, which was developed much before Patanjali, they believe that the more we control our thoughts, just like when you control the flow of the river, a lot of potential is generated which can produce power.
Como cuando controlamos el corriente de agua en el río a través de la represa, genera la energía. De la misma manera, cuando nosotros controlamos nuestros pensamientos, cultivamos ese poder.
So this 4th power, all the 4 powers of the mind, every human being has in various proportions. And if he uses it to become free in the sense to reach God, then they are known as the 4 yogas.
Todos los seres tienen ese poder. Cuando uno usa ese poder hacia la meta suprema, se llama yoga.
Swami Vivekananda said one should be like Sri Ramakrishna, who was all-rounded, equally developed in the field of Jnana Yoga, equally devotional, equally active and busy with service of the God in man, and also intensely meditative. So all 4 qualities, if the mind develops, then the personality, the sadhaka or the spiritual aspirant is a well-balanced personality.
Swami Vivekananda decía sobre Sri Ramakrishna como multifaceted, como dice él, tenía todos los multifacético, que tenía todos los, practicaba todos los yogas, ¿no? Como tenía la devoción, tanto tenía el supremo conocimiento, el tema de servicio, de karma yoga y también poder de meditar.
So these are the four pathways. Now let us see how
I missed one point. One point you told that uno cuando tiene ese equilibrio, armonía de estos cuatro, ahí puede, es una cualidad muy importante de tener en equilibrio cuatro caminos en uno, ¿no? Cuatro yogas, cuando uno puede practicar.
So all our monasteries, we try to harmonize all the four paths. If there is too much of singing, too much of devotion, then bhakti will be more. If there is too much of lectures, talks, discussions between in the path of Jnana Yoga, then there will be more intellectual development, but no emotion. If there is too much of work, service should be there, but if there is too much of work, then it will be predominantly Karma Yoga. Some of our Indian centers, they do a lot of work, a lot of service. But there should be a balance. And finally, the most important thing which controls all the three yogas is the yoga of japa and meditation, which is Raj Yoga.
Hablamos de la armonía de los cuatro yogas, ¿no? Si en un centro, por ejemplo, practica mucho de canciones devocionales, en ese caso solo cultivamos bhakti. Si uno solo en un centro tenemos trabajo, entonces solo karma yoga. Otro quizás tiene muchas lecturas, conferencias, genera más de un sentimiento de conocimiento supremo o jnana. Pero lo que es importante, una armonía, un equilibrio de cuatro yogas. ¿Y quién maneja el Raja Yoga o Japa Yoga? Maneja todos cuatro caminos, los tres otros caminos.
Sri Ramakrishna was asked by many devotees, if you see the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, everyone used to come and ask Sri Ramakrishna many times, what is the way to God? What is the path? What are the different pathways to God? So Sri Ramakrishna spoke of the harmony of four yogas in his very simple and unique way in the gospel.
Muchos devotos venían a Sri Ramakrishna y le preguntaba cuál es el camino hacia Dios. Sri Ramakrishna, en el Evangelio podemos encontrar su respuesta.
If you remember, Master Mahasaya or Mahendranath Gupta, in his second visit to Sri Ramakrishna, asked him many questions, and Sri Ramakrishna gave a wonderful answer which harmonized all the four yogas.
Podemos ver, Mahendranath Gupta M en su segunda visita tuvo la respuesta y es la armonía de los cuatro yogas.
He told M, first thing is in spiritual practice is love for solitude or nirjanvas. In Bengali it is known as nirjanvas, which means solitude. Love for solitude.
Él dijo a M que es muy importante tener ese amor hacia la soledad.
Because without solitude you cannot practice Raj Yoga.
Sin soledad, sin esa práctica uno no puede practicar Raja Yoga.
In Bhakti Yoga you may have congregational singing, you may have different hymns, chanting and other things. But in Raj Yoga you have to meditate alone.
En Bhakti Yoga uno puede practicar muchos himnos, canto de mantras, satsang, ¿no? Santa Compañía, pero en Raja Yoga es importante controlar la mente.
So if you see the whole gospel, many times Sri Ramakrishna is telling all the disciples, including Master Mahasaya, who had a very, very busy life. His home was full of noise, disturbance. He was working in the school, very busy life in the school, and Calcutta is so busy, all of you know. So in spite of that, he said, you have to somehow find time to have solitude, at least for 3 days, if not for 3 days, at least for 1 day, total solitude, and if not for 1 day, at least for some time every day.
Sri Ramakrishna dijo consejo a M, es importante la soledad. M era como otro argentino, tenía todos, ¿no? Tenía que trabajar, mantener la familia, el tránsito, el todo, el ruido, y dentro de esto, ¿cómo podía mantener la calma, la ecuanimidad? Sri Ramakrishna dijo, la soledad. Ir a la soledad de vez en cuando, por 3 días o por lo menos por un día.
Sri Ramakrishna himself, if you see his life, when he was in Dakshineshwar temple, he was very busy. He had to look after the ornament, the seva or service of the mother in the shrine. Then he himself became the pujari or the worshipper. So he was always busy. Then he was talking to devotees. Then he was arranging prasad for them. So he was very active. But in spite of being so active, now and then, if you find, he would simply, especially in the initial stages, he would vanish, go quietly, escape from everyone, and go to the deep forest of Panchavati. Panchavati was a forest at that time. He used to go there and sit for meditation. Nobody would know where he has gone.
Sri Ramakrishna, a pesar de tener tantas tareas en el templo de Dakshineshwar, de vez en cuando desaparecía. Donde desaparecía en Panchavati para meditar.
So he himself showed and told Master Mashay, whenever you get a chance, leave your home, leave your workplace, especially on holidays, and go away to a place where there is nirjan vas, that means there is solitude, where you can practice quiet meditation in silence.
Por eso decía a M que debe ser cuando tiene que ir a la soledad, donde uno puede practicar la meditación en completo silencio.
And many times he used to tell M, why do you have to go home? Just come and stay. And he even used to make arrangement for Master Mashay to stay in Dakshineshwar. And once he even made arrangement for him to stay in a small kutia, which is away from even the crowd of Dakshineshwar.
Muchas veces decía M, ¿dónde tienes que ir? No, tienes que quedarte aquí. Y también ayudaba para dejar un lugar apropiado donde pueda meditar.
So Raja Yoga, where to control the thoughts, one has to be peaceful externally as well as internally. Without external solitude, Sri Ramakrishna knew it is difficult to control the noise of the mind.
En Raja Yoga uno tiene que practicar el control interno y también externo. Sin el control interno uno no puede practicar Raja Yoga.
So that is why he gave so much of emphasis on this. Then he said the next step, which is the practice of Jnana Yoga, he said Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka.
Por lo cual él daba tanta importancia a Raja Yoga, esa práctica. Y después dice de Jnana Yoga, el primer requisito es Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka.
So what it means is to distinguish between real and unreal, or to distinguish between permanent and temporary things of the world.
El discernimiento entre lo real y lo irreal, y también discernimiento entre el permanente y la temporal.
So that viveka or that discrimination between real and unreal is nothing but the path of Jnana Yoga.
Esa discriminación aquí, ¿no? El discernimiento es el camino de Jnana Yoga.
Once his disciple, one of the disciples who went to America and started the Shanti Ashrama, Swami Turiyananda, used to read a lot of books, Vedanta books, especially Panchadashi, and he was not seen, he did not come to Sri Ramakrishna for a long time. He was so busy reading Vedanta.
Swami Turiyanandaji de Shanti Ashrama, ¿no? Así que él leía muchas escrituras. no apareció para ver a Sri Ramakrishna por muchos días, leía Panchadashi.
So Sri Ramakrishna asked him, why don't you come nowadays? I don't see you. He said, I am busy reading Vedanta, the Panchadashi. Vedanta, I am busy reading and meditating on the scriptures, that is Vedanta, according to the path of Jnana Yoga.
Sri Ramakrishna le preguntó, ¿por qué no te viniste por tanto tiempo? Y él le dijo, no estoy ocupado, estoy leyendo las escrituras.
Then Sri Ramakrishna gave him the essence of Jnana Yoga in just few sentences. He said, what does your Vedanta say? Vedanta means Jnana, path of Jnana Marga. He said, what does your Vedanta say? It says, distinguish between the real and the unreal and hold on to the real. Isn't it? That is all what Vedanta says.
¿Qué dijo Sri Ramakrishna? Sri Ramakrishna en pocas palabras dio la esencia de Vedanta. La esencia de que solo Dios es real y el resto es temporaria y ilusorio.
So what is real, that is Brahman, and what is unreal is the world that you see, which is made of Maya. So why don't you hold on to Brahman and focus on holding on to the real rather than reading all these books?
Por lo cual dijo que como Brahman, Dios es real, ¿por qué no te aferras a lo real y dejas perseguir el mundo?
When we say Maya, we think it is something which is very mysterious.
Cuando decimos sobre Maya pensamos que es algo muy misterioso.
It is nothing mysterious. Swami Vivekananda in his London lecture on Maya and freedom says,
no es nada misterioso. Swami Vivekananda en su conferencia en Londres sobre Maya y la libertad dijo,
he said, Maya is nothing but a statement of facts as the world that we see in front of us.
Maya es nada, solo unas palabras factuales que vemos el mundo como es.
There is so much of variety in this life, so many changes, so many temporary things happening, and that attract our entire attention.
Tantos cambios alrededor de nosotros y eso atrae nuestra atención.
Variety is the nature of Prakriti and changelessness is the nature of Purusha or Brahman.
La variedad es la característica de Prakriti y ser inmutable es la característica de Purusha.
So Prakriti means the nature that we see around us. There is so much change, so much of joy, so much of sorrow, so much of ups and downs, so much of change which makes our life very uncertain.
Prakriti, la naturaleza, es lo que vemos alrededor. Y tantos cambios hacen nuestra vida lleno de incertidumbre.
So there is nothing wrong in variety. But Sri Ramakrishna, or according to the path of Jnana Yoga, we have to hold on to the real.
No es nada mal en la variedad, pero Sri Ramakrishna decía, según Jnana Yoga, el conocimiento supremo, uno tiene que aferrarse a lo real.
So always holding on to the real, that is God or Brahman, and living in the midst of diversity or variety, but at the same time holding on to the unity is the path of Jnana Yoga. This simple explanation was given by Sri Ramakrishna.
Siempre aferrarse a lo real, tener ese discernimiento y eso es lo que dijo Sri Ramakrishna.
So his mind, he was telling to Riyananji, in fact, that real Vedanta or real Jnana Yoga means to hold on to the Brahman, hold on to reality which will lead you to freedom from all sorts of bondages of Maya. That is the essence of Jnana Yoga. And why don't you practice it?
Y por eso decía Turiyananda que la esencia real de Jnana Yoga es aferrarse a lo real. ¿Y por qué no practicas eso?
So what will you do by reading so many books? No doubt books are necessary because we forget and books remind us that real alone is true and the unreal has to be discarded. So books will serve only the purpose of reminding us what to do in Jnana Yoga.
Y en ese caso, ¿por qué tenés que leer tantos libros? Leer los libros necesarios, pero también tener ese discernimiento entre lo real y lo irreal.
Then Sri Ramakrishna says, after Nirjanvas or solitude where you can control your mind and practice Raj Yoga, and Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, that is discrimination between real and unreal. The third thing he says, taking the name of the Lord and singing the praises of the Lord. Ishware Gunagan. Gunagan means singing his praises through devotion, expressing God's devotion towards God by sublimating the emotions, by directing the emotions towards God.
Entonces primero hablo de la soledad, después del discernimiento y al final cantar la gloria de Dios.
So you will find in this small advice that he gave to Master Mashaya and many other people in the gospel, he is actually talking of harmony of the four yogas.
Esa simple enseñanza que dio en el Evangelio de Sri Ramakrishna, en realidad es la armonía de los cuatro yogas.
And the final yoga, that is Karma Yoga, he says, serving the devotees of the Lord or serving the Lord himself in the devotees as children of God is Karma Yoga.
Y al final lo que hablo de Karma Yoga es servir a los dioses vivientes.
So if you see, many times Sri Ramakrishna in a very small conversation used to give the same advice combining all the four yogas. He was never one-sided. He never said bhakti. Of course, he emphasized more bhakti yoga for devotees, those who are very emotional. But he would, people like Master Masha would say that try to combine all the four yogas in your life.
Sri Ramakrishna nunca fue un fanático. Siempre tenía esa armonía de los cuatro yogas en su mente y decía a sus devotos para practicar eso.
In Holy Mother's life, if you see, you may ask that she never sang and danced like Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was full of bhakti outwardly. Whenever he was in front of Mother Kali or even in his own room, you will find he will ask people to sing, he himself will sing, sometimes he will dance in devotion. So a lot of devotion, plus he also used to give talks, he used to give advice, he used to give jnana, explain about jnana to all the devotees. But if you see Holy Mother's life, you don't see all these things.
Podemos ver en la vida de Sri Ramakrishna mucha muestra, ¿no?, de la devoción, pero en la vida de la Santa Madre no vemos estas cosas.
You may think that in her life it was predominantly karma yoga because whole day she was working.
Podemos decir que en la vida de la Santa Madre todo fue karma yoga porque todo el día estaba trabajando.
Just like most of us. Early morning she will start cooking, she will start cleaning, she will start washing clothes. Whole day would be spent in day-to-day activities.
Como nosotros, la Santa Madre, todo el día trabajando, haciendo varias tareas.
So people did not realize how important, how she was combining harmony of four yogas in her life. They thought Sri Ramakrishna was a all-sided personality, always full of activity, always full of singing, dancing, giving talks, talking to devotees, meditating, everything you can find in Sri Ramakrishna. But Holy Mother was a simple woman, just continuously doing work. That is the idea most people get.
Muchos piensan que solo Sri Ramakrishna practicaba la armonía de los cuatro yogas, como él hacía todo, tenía la capacidad de hacer todo, la posibilidad, pero la Santa Madre al revés.
So, the idea is that she did not express as much as Sri Ramakrishna expressed the harmony of four yogas. But if you watch closely, you will find that she also practiced all the four yogas in her life.
Muchas veces pensamos que la Santa Madre no practicó cuatro yogas, la armonía, pero en detalle si vemos, ella también siguió el mismo camino.
Her mind was very alert, if you see how alert she was, and every sentence that she spoke, if you see the Gospel of Holy Mother, you'll see, every sentence that she spoke was full of jnana, the highest knowledge, jnana yoga.
Ella fue tan alerta, podemos encontrar en el Evangelio de la Santa Madre, que como todas las palabras que ella, todas las enseñanzas, es lleno de esa filosofía de la armonía.
And apart from Karma Yoga and this Jnana Yoga, which, because thankfully some of men were not allowed so much to meet her as much as Sri Ramakrishna. It was only her companions, the women companions, who used to meet her. Even the direct disciples had to indirectly convey the message. They could not directly go and meet her. That was the orthodox system of those days.
La Santa Madre fue muy ortodoxa y todos no tenían la posibilidad de verla personalmente.
But whatever she spoke, whatever knowledge she gave to the women disciples and some monastic disciples who had access to her, who used to go and talk to her, like Swami Sarvasthanandaji. There are so many reminiscences of monks who recorded her conversations. You will find it is full of Jnana Yoga.
Todo lo que la Santa Madre predicó entre sus devotas mujeres están impregnadas de jnana, de conocimiento supremo.
So she did not give, if you see the gospel and compare it with Holy Mother's gospel, there may not be so many explanations, but many times you will find that she has given very, very complex solutions and explained what the path of discrimination is.
Complex solutions.
Complex complex problems. Solutions to complex problems.
Podemos encontrar en la vida de la Santa Madre que ella dio muy simples soluciones a los problemas complejos.
And they are full of knowledge and full of wisdom. And it is full of Jnana Yoga because she is not emotional. She is very, very practical and gives solutions without getting emotional at all.
Ella fue muy práctico, no tenía emoción, no lloraba así, ¿no? Entonces daba todas las soluciones muy prácticas a los problemas.
You know how many disturbing people surrounded her. There were some crazy people, Radhu and her mother, and so many others. There was always some problem, some disturbance, but she never lost her mental composure. She was steady and always calm, collected, peaceful. So what was the secret of her Sthita Prajna behavior, the behavior which did not disturb her?
¿Cuál fue el secreto de su firme conocimiento? Sthita Prajna. Ella estaba rodeada de distintos tipos de los seres humanos, locos, codiciosos, pero aún así, ¿cómo pudo mantener el equilibrio mental?
So the secret which she herself said was a result of deep japa and meditation that she did. And she herself has confessed that she used to do more than 100,000 japa every day.
¿Cuál fue el secreto? Ella misma dijo que repetía 100,000 veces el mantra.
So, in her advice, you will find she maintained a wonderful harmony of 4 yogas by a sadhana which is known as the Japa Yoga.
Podemos encontrar el ejemplo a través de la Santa Madre del ejemplo de Japa Yoga.
Japa Yoga is not so much used. It is a combination of all the 4 yogas.
No está mucho en uso. Japa Yoga es la combinación de los 4 yogas.
If you compile all the quotations, all whatever Mother has said on the art of japa and meditation, mainly japa, you will find she has created a unique sadhana of harmony of 4 yogas through the simple technique of japa.
Sí, pero sí, podemos leer las enseñanzas de la Santa Madre que habló a través de Japa Yoga. Nos encontramos que es nada más que la armonía de los 4 yogas.
The Japa Yoga tradition, especially in the Ramakrishna order, because most of you are initiated into the mantra, it is not like any other tradition. It is a synthetic tradition of 4 yogas combined into one upasana. It is upasana. Japa Yoga is nothing but upasana, a technique which is taught. It comes down as a tradition by the gurus of the Ramakrishna order, starting from Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, her disciples, the direct disciples, Swami Brahmananda, Swami Shivananda. So it is a tradition, continuous tradition, combining all the 4 yogas into a sadhana known as upasana. That is Japa Yoga.
Combinación de los 4 yogas en una sadhana, en una austeridad, una práctica que se llama upasana, es Japa Yoga, que viene como una tradición a través de Sri Ramakrishna, la Santa Madre, los discípulos directos y hasta el Guru presente.
It combines many traditions of India. The Jnana Yoga is obviously there, because when you meditate on the Ishta, you have to imagine that he is none other than the Satchidananda Brahma, the Brahman himself, who has taken this form. So when you say that, it is nothing but Jnana Yoga, because you are not meditating just on the form and the name, but you are going beyond name and form, imagining that the formless has become the form so that you can have bhakti towards it.
Jnana Yoga Ishta Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna desde conforme, ¿no? Dios sin forma tiene una forma y con eso nos ayuda a practicar esa tradición.
That is why Holy Mother said, she gave the harmony of yogas in a simple technique which is known as Japa Yoga, and she said, Japat Siddhi, you will get everything through the practice of Japa, which is nothing but an upasana which combines all the 4 yogas.
La Santa Madre dijo, Japat Siddhi. A través de la repetición del santo nombre uno puede lograr todo, alcanzar todo.
Because in this, which is in the Japa Yoga tradition of the Ramakrishna mission, we have all the great traditions of Patanjali's yoga, the tantras, the Bij mantra, the name of Bhakti tradition, the Jnana tradition of India, all have been combined into a very simple practical technique. So that forms the core of harmony of yogas as it is practiced in the Ramakrishna tradition.
En la tradición Ramakrishna tenemos una mezcla de todas estas tradiciones de Patanjali, de Tantra, de Jnana Yoga, y eso nos encontramos.
So in the philosophy of Tantra, which is Shakti Puja, or the worship of God as the Divine Mother,
En la filosofía Tantra, de adoración de Shakti o la adoración de la Madre Divina.
There is a concept that the bija is the essence of the reality on which you are meditating.
Es un concepto que la semilla villa es la realidad sobre cual nosotros meditamos.
So, if you see the inspired talks which Swami Vivekananda gave to his 12 disciples, it is compiled. It was in Thousand Island Park in America, where he gathered 12 selected disciples, and he began his inspired talks by quoting from the Gospel according to Saint John. So, in inspired talks, which Swami Vivekananda gave in Thousand Island Park in America,
en pláticas inspiradas donde Swami Vivekananda dio en América, Thousand Island Park,
he gathered 12 select disciples.
Tenía 12 discípulos seleccionados.
Of course, they were all his American Western disciples.
Todos son discípulos occidentales.
So he speaks, he came, and for the first session, he came with the book Gospel according to Saint John.
Primero llegó con el libro El Evangelio según Saint John.
And the first sentence he read out of that book is, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
La primera frase que leyó es, al principio era el verbo es Dios y Dios será verbo.
In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Word itself was God.
Verbo era con Dios y verbo era Dios mismo.
That is in brief the philosophy of Tantra. Tantras believe that the sound, the name and the form are one. They cannot be separated.
En brevedad es la esencia de Tantra.
So whether you meditate on the form, whether you think of God or you repeat His name, it is the same. Even the Bible says that. So the Word was God, the Word was with God, they were separated, but when you repeat it, you become one with God. So Japa Yoga is the unification of the Jiva with the Paramatma or the Supreme Brahman through a word. Word is what Japa means. So repetition of Japa takes you to God.
Japa Yoga es la unión a través del santo nombre que nos lleva hacia la meta suprema.
So this wonderful philosophy was, wonderful technique was emphasized, especially in this Kali Yuga. Holy Mother said, Japat Siddhi. So our tradition, we give a lot of importance to the repetition of the holy name. It is there in all the traditions. In the Greek Orthodox tradition, it is known as the prayer of the heart, repeated prayer of the heart. They say, O Lord Jesus, have mercy upon me. They go on repeating. It is repetition that gives power. O Lord Jesus, have mercy upon me. They say it in their language. But that is the prayer of the Greek Orthodox Church, which is nothing but similar to Japa.
En todas las tradiciones tenemos esa oración, en el sistema ortodoxo griega también, siempre repitan esa frase de oh Jesús, tenga misericordia sobre nosotros.
So it is also a kind of Japa Yoga, where the important point is repetition. Why repetition?
Eso también es Japa Yoga y el punto importante es la repetición. ¿Por qué repetición?
So just like any other habit, spiritual practice is also an habit which we have to cultivate.
Como cualquier hábito, práctica espiritual también es un hábito que uno tiene que practicar.
To become a good typist, you have to go on typing, repeating same thing again and again and again. You become a very skillful typist.
Para hacer cualquier trabajo, ¿no? De tipear, uno tiene que hacer varias veces por largo periodo para ganar experiencia.
So the more you do a thing, the more skillful you are in that art.
Más que hacemos el trabajo, ese mismo trabajo, más capaz nos volveremos.
So, Japa yoga or the yoga of repeating Japa uses the same technique. It's not enough if you repeat once. Holy Mother said just go on repeating.
Japa yoga es el mismo, la técnica, el camino es el mismo, por eso la Santa Madre decía siempre, varias veces, la repetición.
So when Japa becomes a habit, it transforms the whole personality in a very, very easy way.
Cuando Japa se convierte en un hábito, tiene un cambio en la personalidad también, una manera más fácil.
So that is how Holy Mother combined Raj Yoga, because Japa leads to meditation. So there is Raj Yoga, there is the science of meditation there. Then there is the knowledge that the Japa represents the real, and it distinguishes from the real from the unreal, holding on to God under all circumstances. So that is Jnana Yoga. Raj Yoga, Jnana Yoga.
So Japa nos ayuda a practicar Raja Yoga, a repetición, y Jnana Yoga también del discernimiento entre lo real y lo irreal.
And while repeating the Japa, there should be that loving devotion to the Lord who is in the heart. He is the inner controller. So Holy Mother said mechanical repetition will not help. You have to imagine that is full of devotion. You should remember the Lord. So it's not just Japa but also remembrance of the Lord lovingly. So that is Bhakti Yoga.
Repetición mecánica no va a ayudar para nada. Entonces uno tiene que repetir el santo nombre con amor, con mucho ánimo.
So along with that, of course, when you do Japa, Karma Yoga is already there. To do lots of Japa, you need tremendous willpower. If Mother could do 100,000 times, you can imagine how much willpower she had. She used to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes and start her meditation, Japa, on the bank of the Ganga after taking the bath, and perhaps throughout the day, while working, while cooking, while cleaning, throughout the day she would have done, otherwise she would not complete 100,000 Japa per day.
Para practicar, repetir el santo nombre 100,000 veces, como la Santa Madre hacía, uno necesita mucha voluntad, mucho poder.
So that is how we'll see in the great lives of So in the lives of Ramakrishna and Holy Mother, and of course Swami Vivekananda, he was also, though we do not know much, but he used to meditate a lot whenever he got a chance. You see in America, whenever he got a chance, though he was so busy with his talks, one may think that he was full of Jnana Yoga, or he was giving Jnana, he was preaching Vedanta, universal principles of Vedanta to the whole world.
Entonces, a través de la vida de Sri Ramakrishna, la Santa Madre, y Swami Vivekananda también, que como meditaba en el occidente, también como daba las charlas, predicaba el Jnana Yoga a todo el mundo.
But apart from Jnana Yoga and Raj Yoga, of course, he was always Dhyana Siddha, he was always meditating. He also was a great devotee because of the wonderful Khandana and Om Rim Ritam, Amba Stotra, Shiva Stotra, so many compositions full of devotion. Tasmat Tvameva Sharanam Mamadina Bandhu. That is one of the greatest bhakti hymns ever written. The two hymns that we sing every day. That is nothing but Bhakti Yoga.
Entonces, en la vida de Swami Vivekananda también nosotros encontramos Bhakti, todos los himnos de Ambastotra, Khandana, el servicio vespertino, y en Om Rim Ritam Tasma, Tameva Sharanam Mamadina Mandu, tú eres mi único refugio, o de los perdidos o de los humildes.
So I'm very happy to be here, and I was really something unique which we don't have in Bornand. You have so many revered Swami Pareshananji has composed so many nice songs. I wanted to listen today because we don't have that kind of musical talent is there, but our devotees don't sing like that. They sing mostly other songs, Indian songs. But singing, hearing in a Spanish language, in a mother tongue is much better. You have to sing in your own mother tongue. So Sri Ramakrishna's wonderful life, his wonderful message through songs is which appeals to a majority of the people. Especially I saw it in Brazil also. And Rio I have heard there is a big music group. So that is one very important sadhana which you have to do, especially composing new songs, simple songs. You don't have to compose difficult songs. Simple songs on Ramakrishna, full of emotion and devotion. That is a very important sadhana in Kali Yuga.
Así que, bueno, estoy emocionado, fascinado de venir aquí en Brasil, tanto en Argentina. El reverendo Swami Sarvasthanandaji escribió muchas canciones, yo quería escribir, yo quería escuchar, y me parece muy lindo esa idea de cantar en el propio idioma, y ustedes todos tienen que escribir canciones simples así, que todos ya escribieron.
Because this singing of the holy, one of the paths, that is Bhakti Yoga, they emphasize Nama and Gunagana. Gunagana means the praise of the Lord. So you will find in every tradition, and in fact the Khandana, Bhavabandhana, that was a result of Swami Vivekananda visited some churches in France and when he was traveling in Europe. So he heard the wonderful Handel's choruses, beautiful choruses. So he thought that Ramakrishna tradition also we need a congregational prayer. So that prayer, Khandana, he himself composed and himself set to tune. The tune that he has set is Swami Vivekananda's own tune. Khandana everywhere in the world, whether you go to India, whether you go to Europe, you go to America, the same Khandana, that is Swami Vivekananda's greatest contribution to a harmonious music, the best of Western and Eastern music.
El servicio vespertino, Khandana, que ustedes cantan en la misma melodía en todos lados. Swami Vivekananda escribió, Swami Vivekananda también puso la melodía. Cuando estuvo en Francia, escucho la música y pienso en la necesidad de tener también una canción así para el servicio vespertino.
How important this prayer is, Khandana. One of our Swamis, he belongs to a place which you will not perhaps believe, it is Iraq, Baghdad. One of our Swamis, Gangananda, he was in Gretz, France. His guru was Swami Ritajananda, and he never misses Khandana. Even if there is rain, I have seen him, even at the age of 86, 87 now. So with the umbrella he will go. He will never miss the evening prayer. Wherever he is, even if he is sick, he will go and attend. I have seen him in many centers. I had the occasion to meet him. So that shows how universal this evening vesper is.
Tenemos un monje de Irak, él nunca pierde la oportunidad de cantar el servicio vespertino. Entonces con eso podemos entender que cuál universal es esa composición de Swami Vivekananda.
So these three compositions, Khandana, Bhavabandhana, that is the main arti, Om Rim Ritam and Sarvamangala, they form the universal prayers. In Khandana there is no mention of Ramakrishna directly. It can be addressed to any god and goddess. You see, it's Prabhu, they say. So it's a universal prayer for entire humanity that Swami Vivekananda composed. Of course, Om Rem Ritam, it's addressed directly to Sri Ramakrishna, the form Sri Ramakrishna. But Khandana is a universal prayer which you can sing to any Ishta, any God, you can address that prayer.
Khandana, esta composición no tiene una referencia directa a Sri Ramakrishna. Se puede cantar para cualquier divinidad.
So one of our devotees in Bornand was very faithful Christian. So she said, I like this song. Can I sing it to Jesus? I said, why not? You can sing it to Jesus, you can sing it to any God or goddess you believe in. You can even sing it to Allah if you want. But the thing is, Swami Vivekananda, though he speaks of devotion to one's Ishta, the devotion to one's Ishta, who is for us, for the Ramakrishna tradition, in the Ramakrishna tradition, Sri Ramakrishna is Sarva Deva Devi Swarupa. You can worship all gods, all forms, formless God, everything in and through Sri Ramakrishna. Is the most universal personality ever born in this universe. So we have to remember that.
Sri Ramakrishna, muy universal, Sarva Deva Devi Swarupa decimos, ¿no? La personificación de todos los dioses y a todos los diosas, todas las diosas.
So his worship or his prayer or whatever we do to adore him makes us truly universal beings to create a borderless world where there is no distinction, no high, no low, no narrowness, no bigotry, no dogmas. Everywhere that same universal spirit expressing through different forms, different gods, different religions, different human beings. So when you come to the West, when you come to our Western centers, we really get a feeling that Sri Ramakrishna's universal teachings are actually being practically lived in these countries. In India it is very natural, people will worship Ramakrishna, Srima, Sharda, Devi. But wherever the universal spirit of Sri Ramakrishna is respected, in countries which do not belong to the culture where he was born, you find the true universal spirit.
Cuando nosotros venimos a Occidente, otros países fuera de India, ahí podemos encontrar la grandeza de Sri Ramakrishna, que no tiene límites más allá de cualquier doctrinas, dogmas, y también leer, seguir las enseñanzas de Sri Ramakrishna. Nosotros tenemos que volvernos universal, amar a todos.
So my humble prayer to Sri Ramakrishna and Srima Sharda Devi and Swami Vivekananda, so that all of us, inspired by their divine universal love, we can reach our goal, our respective goals in life, the goal that is freedom, by combining all the four yogas in our life.
Thank you very much.
Thank
¿Ya entendieron?
You
Mis
understand?
mejores oraciones a Sri Ramakrishna, a Santa Madre, a Swami Vivekananda, para que podamos cultivar ese amor, esa voluntad en nosotros y seguir los cuatro caminos, la armonía de cuatro yogas en nuestras vidas. Y ahora ustedes algunas